Welcome to Gift of Life, the Organ Transplant podcast. These are the stories of those who have received, given, and who are waiting for the gift of life, organ transplantation. Now here's your host and heart and kidney recipient, BJ Odom.
Welcome to the Gift of Life, the Organ Transplant podcast, where we explore the extraordinary world of organ transplants. I'm your host, BJ Odom. Each week, we'll share inspiring stories. We'll meet individuals that are, just remarkable, and they share their own transplant stories. Be sure to support us by leaving that 5-star review and subscribing on your preferred podcast platform. Have a transplant story you'd like to share yourself? Comments about the podcast? Love to hear from you. Just email us. It's giftoflifepodcast@gmail.com. Once again, giftoflifepodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget, you can connect with us on Facebook. Gift of Life, the Organ Transplant Podcast. Here we are, episode number 43. Life has a way of surprising us all, and sometimes in the most unexpected ways. This week, we meet Julie Patterson of Madison, Georgia, whose journey with kidney disease began at a routine visit to the gynecologist. As a very young lady, she was told she had high protein levels in her urine, an early warning sign that someday her kidneys might fail. Like many of us would, she put the thought aside and continued living life. Fast forward many years, and that distant warning became reality. Julie's kidneys were failing. And it wasn't until 2015 that she learned she would need a kidney transplant to survive. Well, this week we get to meet this extraordinary young lady. Let us say hello to Julie Patterson, and if you would, just tell us a little bit about yourself as we start things out.
I live in Madison, Georgia with my husband of 29 years. We have two, I hate to say it now, grown children. It goes by so fast when they're, the days are long, the years are short. It's very true. But I have a 23-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter. And I am starting my 31st year as a hygienist here in Madison, Georgia. And I guess that's about it for me personally. But, as my kidney transplant story, I feel like it's amazing, and I feel like it was totally God-led from the beginning. So I, at the age of, I guess as a teenager, women go to gynecologists. Mm-hmm. For years, they would say, you have protein, blood in your urine. And they would just say that. Nothing else was ever said. As a 18, 20, 22-year-old woman, I didn't think anything about it. But then after the birth of my second child, when she was about 2, the doctor said, you have a lot of protein and blood in your urine. And so he sent me to a nephrologist, which I had never heard of in my life. And I went my first biopsy and was told that I had kidney disease, and that it was a very, early stage, not a big deal, just do yearly urine checks and blood work. I did that for years. And I have to admit, I never took my kidney disease seriously. Like, I didn't think it was that serious. I just thought I have a kidney disease, But in 2015, which had been almost 10 years, I had had my first biopsy at 32, and that was 2004. So in 2015, I work and had severe swelling starting in my legs that day. And I went to my doctor, and they ordered their biopsy. And of course, it had gone from stage 1 to stage 3, which was not bad, I guess, for 9 years. I think I'd held on well, but I wasn't with the right doctors. Nobody seemed to could tell me anything. It's one of those things you don't really know who to go to. But then I met a man that just moved to my town, Al Shinneman. Actually, he met my husband first, and he told my husband she needs to be with Piedmont Atlanta Hospital, nephrology and Mason Transplant. So I called them because I was grasping at straws at that point. I didn't know what to do. And I got in. And from that point, we did some medicine to try to prolong the life of my kidney. And they didn't work. So it was like 2021. My kidney function had been dropping some. And so my doctor was like, we want, some last minute blood work. It was right before Christmas. We got to see what's going on. And with 3, this is the craziest thing, but to my primary care physician, and they took blood work. With it being, I guess, after COVID, 2021, there was still some COVID around. Our LabCorp forgot to pick up my blood work from their office. So I had to go back the next day and do it again, all while I'm freaking out thinking, okay, I've got to know what these results are. Like they're closing for the holidays soon, wants this blood work. Second attempt, LabCorp, the lady forgot to put the blood work in the bucket for LabCorp.
Oh my gosh.
So it still didn't go out. No, so it still didn't go out. So then third attempt, went up there and I told that lady, I really have to have these results. Like, I think something's really going on. I need these results. She's like, you'll be fine. Your kidney's fine. It's a deal. So I did it. She called me, a few days later. I never knew, like I had seen the kidney nephrologist every 3 months from 2015 on to 2021, every 3 months. And he would always say, if you need a transplant, we will discuss that. And every time I left there for 6 years, I thought, I will never need a kidney. Like, I don't know why they keep saying that. I'm never, that's not me. I'm not going to need a transplant. I'm fine. And so I had even made a comment at work one day after we had hired a new girl, a new assistant. I had made a comment. I had been at the doctor the day before. My boss asked me how it went. I jokingly, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Don't need a kidney yet. Thinking I'm never going to do this. But back to 2021 when the lady called with my lab results, I had never heard these words before, but when I answered the phone, she said, oh my gosh, Julie, are you on dialysis? And I thought, oh my God, like I'm, it's failing, like I'm failing. So my doctor did call and he said, it's time to go on the transplant list. And that was like right before Christmas. And it was kind of devastating because, like I said, I never, ever assumed this would happen. So,
and here it is.
Here we are,
here it is. The holidays. Yeah. The holidays are coming up.
Yes.
And you got family and everything. And all of a
yes.
sudden you get this shocking news.
Yes. And so here we are. It's the end of the year, dental offices, we closed, for the week after Christmas, we're not open. I was so shocked and upset. I just left. I just left work. I didn't stay because they had called me while I was at work. So, went home, started, talking to my family, like, oh, we got to be talking to my husband, actually, like I've got to do this. Like I can't believe this is really happening. But let me back up to 2020 when our office hired a new dental assistant. And she worked with us toward the end of 2020. So about a year. And the whole time she worked with us, I could never remember her name. And her name is Rachel, and I called her Angela. Not to be funny, I seriously could just thought her name was Angela. I could not get it through my head that that was not her name. So fast forward back to I'm going on the transplant list. Just keep that Angela and Rachel in your mind. But we go to the doctor, and we have a scheduled appointment for that 7-hour, testing day where they do everything. You're there forever. And we have that appointment set up for February. They call Piedmont Atlanta calls and says, we no longer take your we no longer take your medical insurance. And here we were, it's February, it's after enrollment. We are, so upset and distraught. We had no idea what we were going to do. And my husband, bless his heart, worked so hard and got me new insurance. Thanks. And Piedmont helped. So we went in March for my appointment. And I am so naive to it that I was thinking we have vacation plans in June. So I'll do this transplant in July. And we sat there in that class where they talked to you about, I'm sure you remember the class where they talked to you about transplants and waiting lists and, the whole 9 yards.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. And when that man said the average wait for a kidney in the state of Georgia is 5 years. And my husband and I looked at each other, and that's when I knew I had no idea what I was getting into. So they asked me, do you have, I'm sorry, this makes me emotional.
That's not a problem. A lot of us people that have had transplants go through the same thing. And there's been many times that I've tried to, talk to family and friends and my whole experience. And I've shed a few tears and received a few hugs. And so it's you know what? You can just do like I do. Blame it on the drugs. It's the transplant drugs. They do it.
They do a lot. They do it.
Yes, they do.
But I will say, so the doctor looked at me and said, do you have family or friends willing to give you a kidney? And when somebody asks you that, it kind of it just made me stop in my tracks and think, I know I have family that would try to give me a kidney. I do, but that's a heavy, heavy thing to ask somebody, like a friend or family, will you give me a kidney? That is so hard to me to think of that, to ask them.
Well, that's like my children. When I needed my transplant, both of my children were, I'll get tested. And I'm like, no, I mean, I've heard that happen many times where the children have donated to the father or the father or the mother has donated to the child. But there was just something about that. And I guess you've got to be in the right frame of mind. But I'm just like, no, we'll figure out another route.
Yes, it's just, I don't know. It just felt hard to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I had, not many of my friends knew that I had kidney disease. So that was going to be, another thing. But then he said, I need you, or you need to put this out on social media. And the doctor had said he had never been a fan of social media, but there had been many people who found their donors through social media. And I thought, I cannot do that. I have tons of patients here in Madison. I just can't do that. And I waited a few weeks, and I don't know why, but I chose April 1st, April Fool's Day, to post on social. And I don't think it dawned on me that it was April Fool's Day. But
so everybody thought you were joking, right? Everybody thought you were joking.
Well, thankfully, no, they did not. But I look back a year later, memories pop up on your Facebook, and I thought, why did I post that on April Fool's Day? I don't know what I was thinking, but I posted it on April Fool's Day. And let me tell you, God showed out, because so many people from my community and my family called. And when they call, they first do that questionnaire to eliminate a lot of people quickly. So unfortunately, my husband was eliminated quickly. My son and my daughter were eliminated quickly. And my sister was eliminated quickly. So I have a nephew and a cousin, and they had moved on to the next process. And then come to find out, I had patients who would come get their teeth cleaned and tell me, I called to get tested for you, but I was denied. Or a few, and this was the miraculous thing. One lady said, I called to get tested for you, Julie, and they put me on a wait list because so many people were calling to be tested for you. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is crazy. I didn't know, that many people would be willing to give me a kidney. They don't tell you who's testing for you or if anybody is being tested unless the person who is being tested tells you. So it's kind of, it messes with your mind a little bit, wondering if anybody's being tested or who's making it so far. So I knew, I came into work one day, my boss and his wife were being tested for me. And a coworker told me she was being tested. And my boss and his wife made it to like the urine, the 24-hour urine test. And then he was eliminated. And, but the coworker kept moving on. And in August of 2022, which was not even a year after I found out that I needed a kidney, Rachel, the new girl in our office, who didn't even really know me that well. We just worked together.
And you'd been calling her the wrong name
And I had been calling her Angela. Now, I will say, we had gotten to know each other, a little bit more. We walked after work some together with another friend. And, we did some things together. But we, knew each other for maybe almost a year, I would think. But she came to me in August and said, I'm a perfect match. I'm going to give you a kidney. And I'm like, are you sure? She has 3 children. Her husband, she talked to them. They were fine with it. They were good. And in October of 2022, we went into Mason Transplant in Atlanta, and Rachel gave me her kidney. And we call her Angela. We call the kidney Angela. Yes. And, it's, God put her in our office. There's an orthodontist office next door to us, and she had applied for a job there, and they, didn't hire her. And then out of nowhere, our bosses are like, we need another assistant. So they hire her. And then for me and for her to be there, it's like God just put her there.
Yes, you better believe it.
And so, yeah.
Now, let me ask you this.
She's my angel.
I know. Now, let me ask you this. And you called her an angel was the name you were calling her too, right?
I called
By accident?
I called her Angela.
Oh, Angela. Okay.
I did it got so bad. She would come in the room. I would say, Angela, and she would run down and she'd be like, Rachel. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep doing that. And it became such a joke that everybody in the office started calling her Angela.
Now,
Like, I don't know why.
now let me ask you this. Okay, so Angela became a coworker. You really didn't know her, but over a year you got to know her better. She got to know
Yes.
you better, but you know, you did a few things together after work, but you weren't like besties or anything, were you?
No, no.
Now, how's the
And there's like
relationship today? That's the part I really need to hear.
well, we still work together. I have cut back to 2 days a week, so I'm not there all the time. I think our relationship is great. We are friends. There is I am 20, I hate to say that, 20 years older than her. So we have, like she's at different stages of her life, but with smaller kids, but we get to see each other every week. I enjoy being around her. And I think what I struggle with is the sense of owing her a debt I cannot repay.
But you know what? I'm betting if you probably have, if you've talked to her, I'll bet it's not, she doesn't feel like you owe her anything, and she doesn't,
No.
I mean, I'll tell you a few stories that I've heard along the way doing this podcast. I had a lady that woke up in the middle of the night and looked at her husband and said, "You know what? I'm going to donate a kidney. I just need to do this. I don't care what their race is. I don't care what their religion is. I don't care what their political beliefs are. I just want to give someone a kidney." Out of the blue. And she did that. And now she's like very close with the lady she donated to, which she didn't even know from Adam. In fact, it was halfway across the country that where her kidney went, because it
Wow.
was one of those kidney chains that got started, where one gives to
Yes.
this and one gives to that. And so she said, "I think I'm the only person that has one kidney that voted red and one kidney that voted blue." And she says,
Oh,
but we get along so great, and we're the best of friends now. And it all happened because of an organ donation. Just waking up in the middle of the night and said, "I don't care who it is." She just wanted to do it.
yes.
And those are the people that truly just blow me away, that just wake up in the middle of the night and say, "I want to do this." And it was probably the same with her. She probably knew about it, heard about it, and one day just said, "This is something I really want to do." And she kind of kept it on the down low until she knew that
Yes.
she was because why say, "Hey, I want to donate a kidney to you," and find out, week down the road, 2 weeks down the road, I'm not even a match at all. But, so yeah, don't let that hamper you, that you feel like you owe her, because I mean, you owe her a friendship maybe, and you owe her the thank you. And, but she did it because she was a caring individual. And of course you're a caring individual too. So those are things you need to kind of overlook, I feel.
Yes. And I'm trying to work past that. I am doing better with that.
Good
But
deal.
she is like the most selfless person. I feel like anybody who can give an organ is the most selfless person ever. And it's the most amazing gift, because now, you wake up from surgery and you feel so much, even though I wasn't on dialysis, I was down to a 15% function.
Mhm.
And I didn't know how bad I felt until I woke up from surgery.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing,
I
which you probably know that.
Well, I relate more to it because I had a heart transplant in
Yes.
2003 and the kidney in 2015. But when I woke up from my heart transplant, because I'd been sick all my life, even from birth, I had, heart defects at birth. And so when I woke up, I felt better than I'd ever felt in my entire life. And it was an amazing feeling. I will tell you that.
It is. It is crazy. And, apparently I was born with my kidney disease and just never knew, like, didn't have a clue until They sent me to, a nephrologist. And, I will say, finding that right doctor and that right group of people, and what a blessing, to meet Al Shinneman when, he moved to town. I'm thankful he had air condition problems because that's what my husband does for a living. And that's how they met. My husband was over there fixing his air.
Okay.
And it was great. I don't know how they got talking, but yes. So Al had said, well, I had a kidney transplant. And yes, so I'm thankful his air broke and glad we got to meet him. And now he's a great friend, and he and his wife. And, I think it's fabulous that Rachel and I can see each other every week. I do not call her Angela anymore. Now that we call the kidney Angela, she is now still Rachel, and she is doing fabulous, and she looks great, and she feels good. And, it's been an amazing experience. Amazing. And I don't wish it on everybody. I don't wish it on anybody, but I just wish there were more people like Rachel out there.
Yes, that would be
who could
amazing.
Look at somebody. Yes, who can look at somebody, or not even look at, like you said, just somebody that wakes up one day and is like, I want to give a kidney. They always say God gives you two. God gives everybody two, so you can share.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, when she told me, she brought me a cake and it said, take my spare. And I loved it. And she has truly become a very special part of my life.
And I'll bet probably your entire family is kind of,
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Because she's like and that's what's really funny about organ donation. She doesn't mean to be and never wanted probably to be a hero, but to you and your family, she is a hero.
She is a hero.
But I'll bet if you ask her, she'll say, no, I'm not. But yes, you are. Wherever you are, Rachel, you are a hero.
She would most definitely say she is not a hero.
That's the way most.
Yes, she will not say that.
And most organ donors will say that. And me, I'm not a hero. I just did what was right to do. No, they're heroes.
They are heroes. And, I think God calls them to do that. I think God laid it on her heart. And, I'm thankful for that. Very thankful.
Well, the lady I mentioned, that woke up in the middle of the night, that's what she said.
Yes.
I just woke up and God had put it on my heart. And I didn't know anybody that needed one. I didn't care who got it. I was just going to give it to somebody. And that's what she did.
Yes. And like I said, I was so naive to the whole thing that, here I am thinking it's March. I'll just have my transplant in July. Like, I don't know where I thought that kidney was coming from. I have no idea where I thought it was coming from, but I'll just do this in July. And, and for her, it's for my doctors to react so quickly when my levels started dropping, for Rachel to feel that call so early, and the rest of my family and friends and patients who tried to test for me, they helped me not to have to go on dialysis. They helped me. She helped me to be healthier for this transplant.
Yeah, because that sometimes can have a lot to do with it too. Yeah, because, some people are really down and out just before they get their transplants. In fact, some people don't even, live because they're waiting for an organ. So, yeah, awesome story.
Yes, like she just my community, Rachel, just all of them together, the doctors, everybody. It's just been a miracle, a total miracle. And I wish everybody's story could be like mine and you get your kidney before dialysis. And I know it's not like that for everybody. And I just feel very fortunate and blessed.
Amen. All right. Now, before we do let you go, is there anything else you'd like to, something maybe I didn't touch on or something you wanted to definitely talk about before we let you go?
I think I've covered it. I would love, maybe I could send Rachel your info and you could interview her one day. And
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
yes, I think she would enjoy speaking with you. We actually got to be on the local news here in town in Atlanta. So that was awesome. And kind of make you feel like a little celebrity. But if it's anything that can motivate somebody else, I think that's what she and I would like, to motivate other people.
And that's what I really try to do with this podcast too, is to motivate people and also people that are waiting, give them hope. And, not only do I do it for those that have donated or thinking about donating and hoping others will donate, but also for those waiting for organs, those have, been transplanted. I'm hoping that this kind of reaches out to them and gives them some kind of comfort or hope. That's kind of my dream for this entire podcast.
Yes, and I do too. I just think the information, especially for kidneys and even livers, I just think if more people knew the processes and, like Rachel does not have to take medication the rest of her life because she did this. And she can go about her day as normal and exercise and, do all things. And yeah, she was down and out of work, for 6 weeks, but, she's perfectly healthy now. And I wish if more people knew that, and I'm happy that I'm able to help, share my story and spread the word as often as I can, because it truly is remarkable. And I think it's not as scary as people may think as far as donating. I think it's
what's good for the people that donate also is that if you have donated a kidney now, I don't know if the state by state is different. I know here in Florida, if you donate a kidney and then somewhere down the road, God forbid, you do have kidney problems and you need a kidney yourself, you get to go to the top of the list. So it's kind of like it's a good pass to have,
Yes, and that is the same in Georgia. Same law in Georgia, or same rule. I don't know if it's a law, but same rule in Georgia.
And it might be nationwide. I'm not for sure, but I hate to, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer.
I don't know that either.
So I don't like to push things I don't know.
I just remember them telling her that, or telling us that. Yes, I think telling us that. And then like another thing is, there's no out-of-pocket expense for the donor.
And
my insurance covered everything for her. And that is another, great thing for a donor.
And I've said this many, many times. There's been people that have decided to donate a kidney. And in the process, because as you know, it's, lots of testing. They check for everything. They want to make sure this person is healthy and vibrant to give a kidney. And a lot of times people, go in thinking they're perfectly healthy and they want to donate a kidney. They find out they have something, pretty serious wrong with them where they can't donate the kidney, but yet it was caught early enough where it saves their lives.
Exactly. And that actually even happened to one of my, one of the people being tested for me. They were doing like a potassium beet juice or something for your heart, like for your overall health, like a beet juice. And come to find out, it was building up too much potassium for their heart. And they found that out through lab, trying to be tested for me. So they're like, you got to come off this. Your potassium's too high, So that was a blessing for them to find that out. So there are, I just think we need to keep getting it out there that it's very It's not as scary as you think. It's not as costly as you think. And you know what? You save a life, and you get to give somebody else a chance to live a healthier, longer life.
And what's better than saving someone's life?
Exactly. Amen.
A big thank you to Julie Patterson for sharing her story with us this week. And of course, be sure to join us each week for a new heartfelt episode of Gift of Life, the Organ Transplant Podcast. If you have a transplant story, please email us and let us get it out to the public. Just send us that email, giftoflifepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to like and share this episode, and we would appreciate your 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. Another podcast you might enjoy with myself and my old radio morning partner, Bill Stevens. It's called BJ and Bill, the podcast. It's basically a podcast with the two old radio guys just talking about old guy stuff. And it's all on the Podcast Playground Network with some mighty fine podcasters. Until next time, I'm BJ Odom. Thank you for being a part of our journey and reminding us all to enjoy each and every day and to treasure our extraordinary gift of life.